The Great Barrington Declaration came out where we have now 50,000 scientists or more that are all speaking out against the lockdown. And in the center of this controversy is the fact that Dr. Scott Atlas has now been advising the White House for just over a month or so, maybe 2 months, but he really just started speaking out for the White House a few weeks ago. And there has been a battle going on now between two different perspectives of what's actually happening in the world. And one of the biggest players that we haven't talked about for a while decided to jump in to this tag team wrestling match, shall we say. Take a look at this article because it's what triggered my thinking today. Bill Gates slams shocking U.S. response to COVID-19 pandemic. This is stat. He says, this has been a mismanaged situation every step of the way, Gates said in a wide-ranging interview. It's shocking. It's unbelievable. The fact that we would be among the worst in the world. The administration's now hired this Stanford guy who has no background at all just because he agrees with their crackpot theories. Now, here's the issue I have with what he's saying. Obviously, he's saying that the White House, the United States of America, has failed us here in America because of crackpots like this guy from Stanford. Of course, he's talking about Dr. Scott Atlas. But the truth is, if I have any memory, and correct me if I'm wrong, Scott Atlas did not run our approach to COVID-19 over the last, 8 or 9 months or whenever we're going to say we started tracking this thing. It's been Anthony Fauci and Deborah Birx standing up in front of cameras with Donald Trump every single day, day after day after day, dictating to us what they said the WHO was recommending that the world does. And so if we're now looking back and saying the White House failed us, aren't we saying that Tony Fauci failed us and Deborah Birx? Because that is who has been driving our entire approach. And when I think about Bill Gates putting down the approach, I find it ironic since he is so closely tied to Anthony Fauci. It's clear he favors Fauci. It's clear he doesn't like Scott Atlas, but you can't put the state of America on Scott Atlas's back. Donald Trump, our president, has finally said, I've had enough. This has gone south for too long, and I have not been agreeing with them, even though I've been letting Tony Fauci drive this and letting the health departments and, what they say move forward. I'm bringing in new blood. I'm going to bring in a new perspective. And now Bill Gates is saying, stop, and suddenly trying to, land all of the responsibility on Scott Atlas. But what is the tie between Bill Gates and Tony Fauci? This is what I started thinking. If I remember correctly, they're kind of buddy-buddy, and they have been for some time. So I went online and I looked and I found this. This was the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The global health leaders launched Decade of Vaccines Collaboration. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, just leave this page for a second. Look at this. New York, the World Health Organization, along with UNICEF, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have announced a collaboration to increase coordination across the international vaccine community and create a global vaccine action plan. Who was one of the lead people involved in working for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on a vaccine plan? None other than Dr. Anthony S. Fauci, director of NIAID. Now, this whole thing took place for the decade around 2010. But we have seen images of, Tony Fauci and Francis Collins, the NIH, and Bill Gates. Obviously, they remain very chummy around this entire situation, which got me to thinking and really looking at this attack upon that Stanford guy, Scott Atlas. So it continues. Now the Business Insider jumps in on this, right? The rise of White House COVID-19 advisor Dr. Scott Atlas, a lockdown skeptic who has Trump's ear and is worrying experts like Bill Gates' guy, Fauci. It goes on to say, in response to Redfield and Fauci's criticism, Atlas told Business Insider in late September, all of my policy recommendations to the president are directly backed by the current science, and they are in line with what many of the world's top medical scientists advise. Career government public health officials do not have a monopoly on knowledge. And then in Daily Mail, we see it gets even more heated. Bill Gates blasts Trump's COVID advisor, Dr. Scott Atlas, as a pseudo-expert who is off the rails and criticizes President for suggesting politicians know better than disease experts by attacking Dr. Fauci. Now remember, Gates is complaining about how this country handled it, and he's saying the guy that was in charge should still be the guy in charge. There they are, all chummy again. Well, Dr. Scott Atlas wasn't going to take this sitting down. He tweeted this: I will continue sticking with my colleagues at Martin Kulldorff, Bhattacharya, Gupta, Ioannidis for input and the science itself. But if I have a question about hashtag Control-Alt-Delete, then I might ask hashtag science not politics, hashtag facts matter. Obviously, going back to Bill Gates and saying, I know I am a medical doctor with a degree and extensive work at Stanford University. I'm not sure why I am being attacked by a computer expert that couldn't even cure a virus in his own computer system. He goes on to point out I think there was a tweet that went out from, it appears to be Joe Biden. Nobody thinks he makes any sense, the former vice president responded. Nobody. No serious doc around the world. That's a lot of nobodies and a lot of censorship to do too. Hashtag truth matters, hashtag we know the science, hashtag who is the outlier. This is Scott Atlas repeating what Biden said. I think that's Biden who he's referring to. And he puts in the Great Barrington Declaration the signatures on that day. 587,000 concerned citizens. Can we bring that back up? 11,000 doctors, medical and public health scientists, and 32,000 medical practitioners. That's not nobodies. Those are some of the greatest world-renowned scientists, and a whole lot of them backing up Dr. Scott Atlas. Now, when I started looking at this, it made me think, what is really going on here? And we have reported from the very beginning that the numbers didn't add up. We predicted that the imperial model was dead wrong and that it would fall, and we were right. We were looking at the numbers in Italy saying these numbers are being bloated. They're taking comorbidities like heart disease and cancer and people on their deathbeds, as Italy put it, saying that 88% of our deaths really were from the comorbidities, heart disease, diabetes, COPD. You can really only take this bloated death rate of COVID-19 in Italy for about 12% of those deaths. That's the actual COVID number. Now, we did the opposite in America. We made everybody that dies with the disease died from it. And now we're seeing all sorts of crazy numbers with flu disappearing, cancer, all of it is a mess because we've changed the way we collected data. And I was asking myself, if this whole thing really is some sort of fake job, as it has appeared to us for many, many months, why? What would there be to be gained, and who is behind it? And I want to take you through a timeline that popped into my mind. Now, this is just a theory. But